It is common to hear people say that children should learn manners from home. Teachers would often argue that a well disciplined child makes teaching and learning effective. That is true. Parents need to instill manners and discipline in their children. But the truth is, children spend a large amount of their daily living time with teachers. So teachers have a huge role to play. This is a partnership that we must both be serious about. The parents do their part, the teachers do their part. This way, we'll get effective results in nurturing our children. And the first thing I want us to talk about is how to teach our children gratitude, appreciation by saying thank you for even the most insignificant thing, something that is very, very irrelevant, something that happens every day, something that is normal, that they don't even see as a big deal. Thank you shouldn't come when there's something out of the blue, something that is huge, something that is really nice. Thank you should come for every form of kindness that we show to the children. It could be as simple as marking your child's book. So when you mark your student's book, encourage them to say thank you. When you sharpen their pencil, your child comes to you and says, "Teacher, please sharpen my pencil." Encourage the child to say thank you when you're done. When they want an advice, when they seek something from you, encourage them to say thank you. As a parent, when you give them food, you give them breakfast, lunch, dinner, every day, 7 days a week, it becomes a normal thing. For each meal they get, encourage them to say thank you. Do not normalize some of these things. Many children do not have the opportunity that our children have. So let them know that every little form of kindness they receive is something that they should be really, really grateful for. And our thank you should be from the home as well as from the school. Secondly, we should encourage our children to say, "Excuse me," if they bump into something mistakenly, if they need to grab your attention, anything they need to do that needs them interrupting anything you're doing, we should make it a habit in them. They should say "excuse me" as often as possible. They shouldn't see it as it's no big deal. It's a big deal. Once they're used to it, it actually helps them to become more respectful, and then people are actually able to appreciate them as human beings, respectful human beings. We should also teach them not to interrupt. You're teaching in the classroom, you're talking to your spouse at home, whatever the situation, whether it's at home or at school, our children should learn not to interrupt. We should ensure that this is something that has become very, very scarce in our society. Nobody is listening anymore. Everybody wants to say something. Nobody is listening to another person to say what they have to say and finish. Everybody wants to talk, everybody wants to be heard, but nobody wants to listen. So teach your children not to interrupt. They shouldn't interrupt when you're on the phone. They shouldn't interrupt when you're talking to someone. They shouldn't interrupt a teacher when she's talking to another student. And so many things that we may actually see as it doesn't matter, it's very insignificant. We should encourage our children to say thank you as often as possible. We should also teach our children the importance of hygiene. Hygiene is not something that can be taught only at home. The parents have the role to play, the hygiene, how to care for themselves, how to care for the environment, how to care for their personal things. The teacher also has a huge role to play. A child comes to school looking very neat and nice, and he goes back home looking so dirty. What are you doing as a teacher? You cannot say that because the child he has to do so many things at school, and then you leave him without guiding him. You must guide their activities. They cannot come to school looking nice and cool and then go back home looking all tattered. Hygiene is very, very important. How to take care of your things, their books, their bags, their shoes, everything must be a partnership. Parent does their own, teachers do their own part. You'll see some children pressing down the back of their shoes and walking in a very, very shabby manner. What are the teachers doing? Children flying out their shirts in the school and the teacher is not doing anything. What are the teachers? This is not what the parents will do. This is the responsibility of the teachers. So in hygiene and appearance, it is very, very important that we work together. Table manners. Children eat at home, they eat at school. At least they will eat one meal at school. So we need to teach our children table manners. Don't talk when there's food in your mouth. Eat with your right hand. Some of the things that we need to teach them to do, we have to teach them. So a parent is at home instilling the dua for eating. You say Bismillah before you eat. You do this before after eating. You eat with your right hand. And then the child comes to school and the teacher doesn't care. No, it can't work like that. We need to work in a partnership. The parent does their part, the teacher does their part. That is the only way we can actually work together and get effective results for them. Another thing that we need to teach our children, both at home and at school, is responding to people's questions. Your teacher questions you and you're looking at her like, I don't need to respond to you because I don't feel like it. No, we must teach children that they should respond to people's questions. When someone asks you a question, respond. For children, it might take a long time for them to actually adjust to this because their brain is still developing and they may not be able to process your questions effectively. But as they grow older, let them know the importance of responding to questions. It teaches them discipline, it teaches them attention, and it teaches them respect for authority. It's very, very rude. Some children have gotten so used to it that whether the parents at home or the teachers at school ask them something, they just go mute. They wouldn't say anything. So we need to ensure that this is something that we instill at home and at school on a regular basis for them. We should also teach our children respect for anyone in authority, and this is an area that really saddens my heart because sometimes a parent will do or say some things in the presence of children that will undermine the authority of the teacher. Please, you have to be very, very careful. You must never, as a parent, say or do anything that will make a child disrespect the teacher. And for the teachers, never say anything that would be disrespectful to the parents. Do not say things to the child that in a subtle way is actually like you're throwing jabs at the parents. Many children will go home and tell their parents, this is what my teacher said. And then if it is something that is disrespectful, then you're not worthy to actually help them in nurturing their children. We should teach our children one other thing, how to put other people ahead of them. This is something that is lacking in our society. Hold the door for other people, let other people serve themselves first before you, and so many things. So for example, at home, mommy wants to serve the food and she says, everybody come and take your food, or take your siblings' food to them. Let the child know that he should serve others first. Let me give my siblings first before I give myself. In the classroom, the teacher gives a student maybe pencils or crayons or anything, work materials to give out to the others. He should learn to give others first, not like trying to get everything for himself first before giving out what is left to others. We should allow our children to build this moral so that we can actually have a successful and productive society. We need to work together. We are partners.